Well, we continued to have some fun with the game last night. It was a good night for us, as it turned out. Kind of a roller coaster ride, but really great finish, and we're really happy about that. It's something that we've been needing to do in a number of games. Would have made a difference in some games this year if we'd had, the connected finish, both offense and defense, like we did. A lot of guys played well, played real hard. The stadium was great. Matter of fact, the crowd was so loud we had to use silent count late in the game, which is kind of unusual for us at home. But we had a lot of young guys did good things. You know, the guys get marks. Rasheem Green gets his first sack, and Jacob Martin helped out, and Rashad played well again. Just some really good stuff happening. See those guys be part of it, and it helps us along the way. So, good win and all that. We got a couple of days. We'll break right here, and then we'll come back Monday and get back after it with another huge matchup going to Carolina, and playing in a place that we're pretty familiar with, but it's still a very difficult place to play.
You mentioned young guys. Is this kind of the time of year sometimes where rookies can just sort of start doing more because they've been around now for a while?
Well, I don't know I think I probably have always said that, that if you play your guys early, then by the halfway point, then they can really start to help you, and because they feel like regulars, and it's not a big deal to them to play, playing the games and all that, and they're comfortable with it, and it's kind of showing up a little bit. But that's kind of how we've always counted on it.
It seems like Jacob Martin is getting much more effective with his rushes, whether it's getting there or just causing issues for the quarterback. It seems like he's becoming much more impactful on a play-to-play basis for you.
Yeah, he's really quick, and he has a great get-off, and he's a pretty savvy rusher too. He's not a big guy, so he's got to do it with his quickness and all that. But when everybody's going, the pass rush really jumped up in the second half. It was great to see the guys heated up like we did. Jacob becomes more a part of it because he is so mobile, and he can take advantage of coming off the second move or third move to the quarterback. And but he's done a nice job. He's been adding to us for some time now, and I'm really happy that he got involved again. I think the Raider game he had a pretty good game too. Back a couple weeks ago, and so he's doing well.
Overall, this rookie class, how excited are you about what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic group. Really, remember we're missing Will Dissly, who we thought was just a fantastic addition and started off great. And we'll welcome him back. But all in all, it's been a really good group. I had Trey Flowers in there too. Trey's playing regularly and really started every game so far. That's a great accomplishment, for himself. But it's just a good group all around, and their attitude and their competitiveness and smarts and kind of just fitting in has been really obvious.
What happened with Rashad? I mean, we were told he was questionable with the ankle and all that, and then he obviously played the rest of the game.
Yeah, he twisted his ankle on the run. He kind of came down on it funny, and he kind of lost some chances to get back in there for a while because we weren't sure how serious it was. But they taped it up, and he felt pretty good about it, so he got back in there and did fine. But we missed a couple ops in there, that he would have gotten, I think, if that hadn't happened. He looked good, looked really explosive again.
What's going on with the false starts?
There was a few different things that happened. We talked about, we got caught in some of their movement at the line of scrimmage. It got us a little jumpy, and unfortunately, and not complaining about it, that just happened. We need to handle that. And there was a couple other things that we just a little bit off, but it added up. There was 5 of them, and so it felt like all night long we're jumping off sides. But we got caught a few times, and everybody contributed to it. So obviously it was somewhat of an epidemic, and it was too bad.
How big was it to see all 3 of the backs play well in the same game? It was Rashad last week when Chris was out, but before that it was just Chris and Mike. To have Rashad, Chris, and Mike all contribute, what did
Well, I think it's great. I know that it might frustrate some people, we can't make up our mind, but I feel really comfortable with how we're doing this. And some games, they'll go in a different direction as we've seen, but it's great to have that kind of flexibility, and they've all got characteristics and attributes that help us. And I thought Mike did a great job finishing the game in there, and guys decided to go with him, and he did a really sharp job of hitting the line of scrimmage and making everything out of those last couple carries that knocked out those first downs. So it's really it's a good issue. It's a good concern. J.D. McKissick's going to come back to practice this week for the first time, and so he'll have a chance to see what he can do to make it more confusing and challenging. So, but that's a good thing.
Why was the decision to have Davis do the final drive? What was the reasoning?
The guys just felt like he'd be the right guy at the time, and you know, well, most of those decisions now, those are gut decisions now how we're doing it, and they felt good about it. I was supportive, and you know, it's just the way it went.
On silent counts, how often have you done that at home?
You know, I can't tell you. I don't know. I don't remember that happening. I'm sure it has, but I don't remember it happening. But I think someone we might have had a half dozen of them or something in the game. I don't know what that final number was, but that was unusual, and so we handle it. But we're trying to run the clock out, which we want all of the cadence at our advantage, and we're in the silent count just to you know, to execute it, and we were in the gun too, so that adds to that. But you know, we'd rather not have to do that if we could have it. We'd like to have them cheering after it, but we'll take them when we can get them.
How much of it was the crowd noise, and how much was what Green Bay was doing on the defensive front?
Well, they got us a few times. Yeah, they got us.
Silent count, I mean, how much was that factor in forming the silent count?
No, that would have nothing to do with them.
I know that there was talk in your offensive lineman that there was simulating counts and jerking to try to.
They did a little bit. Yeah, that did happen in the game, I think. And we thought, our guys thought that. I thought so, and I know Britt went crazy, trying to make the point to the officials. But that's, you know, I'm not griping about that. That's just them playing the game, and I don't know that they weren't doing it exactly. If you say move to move your guys, that's legit. You can do that. It's just if there's something else. I don't know if there was or not. But you know, we got to talking about it, and it didn't happen after a while. So you know, I know the officials were well aware, and they might have warned them or whatever. I don't know. And again, I can't document that they did it. That's just kind of what we were griping about at the time. It was kind of a rule number 2 violation, to tell you the truth.
How did you guys come out of the game health-wise, ultimately?
Thankfully, we came out in really good shape. We made it through the game, and for a Thursday night challenge, we came out in really good shape. And so we'll see how the guys come back next week. But I was thrilled. You know, there was nothing on the report.
What is KJ Wright's situation, though?
We're trying to get his knee back where he really feels confident that he can get back and stay back. And so we're going to take time, whatever time it takes, to check that out and make a decision on it and give him an opportunity to, you know, the whole time we were pressing for a really quick return, and he was going for it, and we were going for it, and the docs were going for it, and all that. And it maybe was too much too soon, but we found out that he did everything he could. He's been awesome, you know, and he did everything he could to get back, and now we're going to just figure it out and make sure that we give him a shot to come back, you know, full go.
What happened to Justin briefly? Coleman.
I don't know. He was fine. He went back in. I don't know what happened to him.
Is Kalitro?
Somebody said it was an equipment issue, but I don't know that.
Kalitro obviously played a lot.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, Austin did a nice job. You know, he's played enough football now, and he's got it. You know, for the next guy to go in at that spot, he's the most experienced guy, and that's really what gives him the advantage right now. He's a good ball player and doing some nice stuff, but he's the most experienced guy playing the spot, so we feel like we can get the most consistent work out of him. You know, Shaquem keeps, you know, he's banging it and trying to get in there too, but that's the way we've decided to go.
Obviously, a big challenge of getting ready for a Thursday game, but coming out of it on the back end of it fairly healthy, like you said. Just how big of an advantage this time of year is?
Well, no, thrilled about that. Honestly, a couple guys that missed the game because they were banged up will be in the fight this time around too, coming back. So we'll get healthier with a couple more guys too. Delano he'll get back, and that'd be great to have him back out there. So it'll help.
What do you think of Nas?
He did all right. You know, he helped. He helped us out a little bit. Didn't get a lot of play time, but he did all right.
Doug finally found the end zone this season. How good was that?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, we just unfortunate that we missed some chances with him so far, and frustrating for him and all of us. He's a really, really good player, obviously, and has a big factor to play in our push down the end of the season. We need him going, and he's been getting some balls. He just hasn't gotten the end zone. And you know, we had one a couple weeks ago. We missed a chance to keep his feet in, and we've missed him a couple times. And but it's really important for us that he is a legit threat for our opponents, because he can do a lot of stuff and do a lot of damage. And Russ loves throwing to him.
He's
Talk about the season being kind of frustrating for him with the injury and everything, and he said kind of he's learned more about himself from it. Just how have you seen him handle this year?
It has been frustrating for him, just being the dedicated competitor that he is. It's been hard to have to even gauge how he can prepare. He's always just gone for it, and that's all he's ever known. But he's had both knees have bothered him, with different things that he's getting through, and he hurt his elbow too, and he had a little groin thing going, and so he's just had stuff kind of nagging at him. But he's back, and this is the best he's felt all year, and he came out of the game feeling good too. So that's great. With a little break, he'll hit this next week really going. But I've just watched him. We've had to talk about it and deal with some kind of gauging the days, and where can we work, where can we hold back so that he can be strong for the weekend. We've never ever talked like that before, so I'd like to put that behind him. I know he wants to battle, and he doesn't want to miss anything.
Shalom Luani got some snaps for you in dime situations. How did he kind of handle it?
Did fine, handle it, and it was good to get him his play time. He's been working hard to fit in. We really like getting into dime because it gets Bradley in a different situation, and that he and Delano would have been working that out, for play time. But it was great to see him step up. He's done a really, really good job on special teams the last month. He's just kind of caught fire for us, and he's been a very good factor for us. So. It's great to get him on the field, too.
Did you really go ride the Ferris wheel after the game last night?
Yeah.
Have you done that before, or was it spur-of-the-moment decision?
We have been on the Ferris wheel before. It's a wonderful ride. Everybody should do it. So might as well give him a little plug here. No, I didn't go by myself. And it didn't take anybody with us. We just had an opportunity, and it was a beautiful night, fun evening, so we just had some fun. Just enjoying Seattle,
You're allowed to be a citizen, too? That's good.
We were the last ones on, so it worked out great.
Considering Chris has been banged up and he's got a bunch of carries like that, is where he got now, I think, about 17, kind of the right range for him?
I'm not calling it that way. I don't care. He's good. He can play if we need more. Obviously, he can do more, which is great. We know that. But that's good for the long haul of keeping guys fresh and competitive and active and all that. It doesn't, that only helps us that we can roll 3 guys through there. But I don't think there's but they need to get in the teens to really have a chance to get a feel, I think, and we'd like to do that. But I don't know, was 36 carries, was it, this week? Something like that.
He fumbles on the first snap, and I know the run is part of your first quarter now, but then you gave him the ball the first play of the second drive. Was that a concerted effort to get him right back in it?
We weren't going in the tank because he fumbled on the first play. We hate that he fumbled on the first play. He didn't get low enough and keep the guy from attacking the football. The hit, and also Clay did a nice job getting after the ball. But he's got to do better than that. We don't, there's no fumble that's okay. But on the other side of it, we believe in the guy, and so we're not, there's no reason not to.
You talked last night about the belief, the way this team comes back in games and the mentality. How much do you and Russell kind of have a similar mindset that way?
Yeah, we pretty much see eye to eye on how this is supposed to go and how we want it to go, and the way we see it, we kind of respond in similar fashion. We got our own language that we use, but we do see eye to eye on how we need to go about it, and that's really been fun for me, because it's just a direct conduit to the the guys on the field and in the huddle and all of that. Russell's fantastic about his mentality. He's never ever, I've told you, never wavered about how he believes it can go and how he'll keep fighting no matter what just happened, good or bad. He doesn't care. He can go right back to focus in incredibly consistent fashion. I can't imagine anybody being able to do it any better than that.
Did you know that when you scouted him and drafted him, or did it evolve?
Through the process, it started, the introduction to him and the things that we had heard, and I don't know if I'm sure I've said this before, that somebody, and I can't remember who told us this, somebody said, it might be hard to believe that he's saying what he's saying, but know that he believes what he's saying, and he'll make sure that he'll convince you that it's true, which is the truth. It's almost too good to be true at one point, when you're first hearing how committed he is and how important it is to him and how willing he is and all of that. He's never not backed that up.
Do You mentioned last night that David Moore catch was an interpretation maybe from this year. Would you have you challenged that last year, do you think?
I don't know that. I might have, because it was such a big opportunity that, you give them a chance to interpret it. But the reason behind the challenge was the new ruling. To me, that you get your third step down and the ball's in somewhat control by the receiver. They're giving you credit for that, and I think that was exactly in the spirit of the change in the rule, and so that's what I was hoping to convey. Just in case they weren't thinking that way. That's what the point was, and obviously the guys back in New York, they're all there on in this game, so they saw it that way too.
How have you seen the chemistry between Russell and Ed continue to grow?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting going. That was a great illustration of chemistry right there. Hard work in practice, carrying the practice to the playing field. The coaches did a really good job because we made a special effort to focus on that exact situation during the week. And Shadi had the guys primed up, and it could have been different receivers too, as well as Ed. And so everybody was working on that principle of reading and seeing the hots, and that was really, really well done. And so that's an indication of it. We had the big play to him last week too. So Eddie's doing a good job. We need to just continue to get him involved and let him be a part of it. Nick's playing good football too, but Ed looks like he's really got an opportunity to help us.
It seemed like that might have been one of Quentin Jefferson's most effective deals for you, getting the quarterback and having some impact. How did you see it and where he's at right now?
He's been just increasingly more active, and he's more confident, and those guys, there's such intricate work in there for those guys to work together and setting up the games and fitting them together and all that. It just takes time for the guys to really take advantage of it, and so they're just getting better. I think that was a really good game of pass rush for us. That was one of our best games we've had in a while. You could really feel the tempo and feel the heat when you're rushing against one of the most difficult guys there ever to rush against. I thought it was a very good showing by our guys up front.
Seeing Frank's role as kind of a leader for that group.
Frank's doing everything. He's just been on point. His intensity. First off, he does it. He shows it by the way he plays. He's got, like we've always talked about, Frank having a great motor. His intensity and how he brings the energy to his work is so consistent that whatever he says, you're going to listen to, because he does it. It's not like he's talking about something he doesn't do, and he's like that in practice as well. His attitude has been phenomenal, and so he has become much more outspoken, I think, in his confidence and his awareness that it's called for. We need him. We need him to be that voice at times, and he's really tough, and he's really grinding. So he's the real deal.
You mentioned JD coming back this week. Does CJ Prosise still kind of fit into all of this?
Yeah, it's just we just can't get everybody up, and it's I don't know what's going to happen. JD just complicates it more by being a really good player. JD's one of the better special teams guys, as well, and of that group. So we'll just weigh it all, figure it out, and have to make some tough decisions. It really bothers me that CJ's not a part of this, because CJ is worthy of being a part of it, and it's just kind of the rotations and how it's fitted together.
Is it this next week when Michael Kendricks can come back to practice for you?
Yeah,
guys?
actually Michael can be around starting today. And so he's got 2 weeks that he can prepare, and then in the third week he can play. So we'll welcome Mike back, and he did a real nice job for us, and I know for his own personal world it's good. It'll be great for him to be back and working with the guys.
What have been your overall impressions of the secondary in the last month or so against some good quarterbacks?
Well, we got knocked around a little bit last night on a couple balls, and those guys did a nice job. I mean, the quarterback was phenomenal throwing the ball down the field, and he got us a couple times. But I think all in all, they've been playing pretty steady, and they're making it through it. The experiences are incredible because these guys are so good, and we're going to be better. I mean, there's nowhere in the schedule the quarterbacks aren't going to be dangerous and hard to deal with, but these guys just have the lore and the history and all the rest to go along with it. And I was wondering when Rasheem Green made his sack, because he was thinking, hey, I just sacked Aaron Rodgers. He may have been, because he's watched him play since he was a kid. And so it's the same for the DBs. Getting through some of those, but they're handling it. And they're doing really well at it in general. but we can be better, and we got to keep working on it.
How did you see Trey and Shaquille both respond to the two deep
These
shots?
these guys are rock solid competitors. They're fine. They came right back and played and did some good things and changed up on them to make sure that they weren't vulnerable again. And these are really good games for these guys. These are really good games, particularly for Trey, because first time around. He needs these challenges.
What are you looking for to gauge like that a DB has that short memory, that he can kind of just forget about it after getting beat?
When you communicate with them, really, and watching their response to, watch the, their body language and all that. I mean, I don't know. I've been doing it for so long. I don't know. You can just read where they're coming from. But I'll always check in with guys. It's somewhere in there soon after, just to see what's going on and see what's necessary.
Anything else? Thank you.